Why hasn't Congress yet acted on ending Bush tax cuts for the wealthy? And what will you do to end tax loopholes and evasions by corporations?
Well, first of all, I must say, as the new guy on the stage, as a newcomer to what they call Washington politics, I'm a bit dismayed at the partisanship that we hear throughout a campaign. And I'm not suggesting it's coming from Congressman Wu, but it's coming from all sides. And I think that it's very unappealing to Americans and certainly Oregonians. And when we demonize certain classes of our society, both employers and workers, I don't think it's helpful, and I don't think we come to the right outcomes. Also, I think it's important for the American people to understand what the IRS says about our current tax code. The IRS has suggested that the biggest tax problem we have is the complexity of our own tax system. We don't need more taxes. We need a simplification of the taxes we currently are paying. As an example, a woman I know whose name is Diana, she started a business of her own in Beaverton in June of 2008. It's a women's clothing store. And I talked with her about what she's looking for in the future. She wants to open up new stores. But here's the reality. If the tax cuts are not extended in January of 2011, her tax bracket will be at 40% to the federal government, 11% to the state, 12.5% to payroll, 3% to Medicare. She's now at 66%. We haven't even talked about the cost of health care. We haven't talked about the costs of inventory, payroll, and other expenses she's not right now expecting. You have to ask yourself the question, if you're Diana, what incentive do you have to grow your business and hire people? If you know that large percentage is going to government, we need to incentivize the Dianas of Oregon to start businesses, to grow businesses, and to hire people, not demotivate them through overtaxation.
Thank you. Mr. Wu, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you very much. I take Rob at his word that he is running for Chad, for the Chads of the world, and for the next generation. But when Rob comes out and says that he would extend the Bush tax cuts for everybody, including millionaires, what he's not telling you is that the extension of the Bush tax cuts for millionaires will cost us $700 billion over the next 10 years. Now, what would we get when we get that $700 billion in debt? That's like a credit card expense that Chad and my son Matthew and my daughter Sarah will have to pay back, because every penny of that tax cut for millionaires is going to be paid for out of debt, and that debt has to be paid back. I offer you something completely different from that, which is a tax cut for everyone who makes less than $200,000, a tax cut for everyone filing jointly who makes less than $250,000. That is over 98% of Americans. And that is the path forward for the United States, because quite frankly, when Rob talks about the mountain of debt that we are piling up, that mountain doesn't yet include the $700 billion that would be added to it if his proposal for America were to prevail. That is borrowed money, borrowed against our future. I'm a dad, and the one thing that I will not do is pile on our credit cards today a debt that our children will have to pay back.
Thank you. Let me remind the audience, this is your opportunity to listen